everyone. Thank you for joining me today. We're taking a look here on page 23 of the book, which I've written, and this entire series is going through every single page of the book of essential business English vocabulary. Now, I'm going through the book from beginning to end. Now we're looking at some idioms. Now, the idioms I have here, I've handpicked them to go through A to Z. Now, this idiom here is ahead of the curve. If you've worked in business for any amount of time, you may or may not know this idiom. If you don't know it, you need to know it. Ahead of the curve means you're innovative. Ahead of the curve is fantastic. Now, if you're interviewing, to be able to use this idiom ahead of the curve means have the most recent amount of knowledge in something. You've worked with the most recent technology, the most recent innovations and ideas. Ahead of the curve means you're above and ahead of everyone else. I'm going to put the whole page of the book here up on the screen for you, but I'm going to read you the meaning and definition here. So meaning to be more advanced or more informed than your competitors or other people or your colleagues, and especially within industry. Synonyms: forward thinking, proactive, ahead of the pack. So these are fantastic. This is a really great way to say that something or someone, an idea, a project, a process is forward thinking. It's more innovative. It's ahead of the curve. I'm going to read you some examples here from the book. Our software keeps us ahead of the curve on customer insights. So knowing what your customer is doing, how do you know what your customers are doing? Well, you have a great software that's finding out how your customers interact with your network or your software or your product. So it keeps you ahead of the curve, ahead of the game, more advanced, understanding what's happening. Next one here: finance shared early forecast so we can stay ahead of the curve on cash flow. So what's the forecast for the next quarter? I don't know. What's our cash flow for the next quarter? I don't know. Well, finance has shared that with us. Now we're ahead of the curve. We're more knowledgeable. We're in an advanced situation and state because we have this information. So we're ahead of the curve, planning our next quarter, planning our developments, planning our business trips, planning our level of staff and what work we take on. We are ahead of the curve. We're in a more advanced situation because we got some knowledge shared with us from finance department. Next one here is: the team subscribed to the new standard update to remain ahead of the curve. Okay, the team subscribes to the new standards update to remain ahead of the curve. Now, what this means is the team subscribed to a new update. They took on a new update to be ahead of the curve. So obviously, an update needs to be done within the company or within the industry or within your project or product, whatever it may be. And the team took that on and they subscribed to a new update. So now they're getting the most recent facts, the most recent information, the most recent software they're working with. So they're ahead of the curve. They're not working with old tools, old ideas. It's all ahead of the curve. Now, take a look down here, which I put for you on the paper here, is how do you stay ahead of the curve? So how do you stay ahead of the curve? Do you need to stay ahead of the curve in your industry? Most people do. This is very useful when it comes to interviewing. So perhaps you've been out of work for a while. Perhaps you're moving industries. Perhaps you're moving different levels or different countries. So to stay ahead of the curve means I do my research. I know what's happening in this industry. I know what's happening in this position. I know what's happening in our field, in our market. So to stay ahead of the curve is very useful to use in an interview, especially because it means you're constantly educating yourself on what is new. And so if you want to go down below in the comments and give me a sentence of how you stay ahead of the curve.